Hello and welcome. I am Super Dungeon Boy, and this is a movie review on Old Boy 2013, or aka the American Old Boy. And hold on one second. There we go. So, I've made another movie review for this movie already. However, I couldn't give you more because if I told you anything about the plot or if I told you anything about particular moments, it ruins the movie. It's one of those movies. So in this particular movie review, which is the, I guess you'd say, part 2, this has mild to moderate spoilers, I guess. More of just a comparison of, lack of spoilers to spoilers. This will make sense in a moment. So let's just jump right into it. So if you watched the other video, then you knew that I already rated the thing like a 5 or a 7. A 5 if I wasn't a fan, I would rate it a 5. If being a super fan that I am, a 7, because I just couldn't, give it anything less than that. I like the attempt by director Spike Lee for his take on this movie. It's kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to follow suit when you got an awesome manga and an awesome Korean movie that pretty much bases itself off the manga about 95%. So it's kind of hard to, for American film directors and all the rest to follow the Asian counterparts. Because I hate to say this, but most of the time, whenever we Americanize something, like when it was a foreign thing and we try to Americanize it, and it usually never works out. Very few things that are, redone in English or an American twist or whatever you want to say. Very few things ever work out. Only one good example that actually did work out, in my opinion. Take the anime DBZ, Dragon Ball Z. In English, it's actually better. The music's better. The sound effects are better. The voice actors are way better. So, that's just my opinion. That's a whole nother subject, so if you disagree, please comment below. And if you agree with me, then go ahead. Give a thumbs up or something. Whatever. Anyways, back to Old Boy here. So, I've been dying to show you the comparisons here. And, show you more, like tell you. Okay, first off, they didn't have all the little puzzles that they do in the manga and the Korean version of this movie. Old Boy 2013, fuck it, we're just going to call it American Old Boy. I don't know what else to really call it. So, they have one little puzzle piece. That's it. So, the whole movie is basically like this, the American version. It's basically, you don't know nothing, neither does the character, by the way. His name is Joseph in the movie, played by Josh Brolin. Broly. What the hell, was he, a DBZ? Brolin. There it is. Josh Brolin. Anywho, by the way, I didn't really give a shit because I'm like you. The minute I saw Samuel L. Jackson on the bottom, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch that. He's going to tear a motherfucker up. And he played pretty good. Then again, what do you expect? Anything less from Samuel L. Jackson? No. So, he always does a good job, so, if you were curious about that. I wish they would have gave a little bit more of him. I don't know. I wanted him to be the main bad guy, and he wasn't the main bad guy. I think he would have done a really good job if he was the main bad guy. For those that read the manga and know the Korean movie, I wish that he played Dojima, which is the villain. And of course, no surprise, in the American version, they it's a white guy, or rather than what it originally should have been, which was an Asian guy. So it went from Godo to Joseph. So whatever. Little small things like that. I'm not gonna nitpick too much. So that's being that's being too mean. But things that do piss me off, like I mentioned before, the puzzle pieces, which were very, very important. They gave you the full depth of the movie. All right, like the cell phone, for instance. They got that right, okay? There is no claw hammer fight scene other than the Korean movie. In the mangas, they don't do that. That has nothing... I don't even know who thought of that idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's just... It's like whenever anybody ever thinks of Oldboy, they think of the one thing, the claw hammer fight, And by the way, to compare that one scene, the Korean version of the claw hammer battle, whatever you want to call it, that was freaking intense. Oh my god, you felt like every blow when he would, beat a dude's head in, and then he flipped it to the claw side, and then he got it, if I remember right, I think he got a dude like right in the eye or something. So, I mean, you feel, or no, it was the head, I think. I don't know, something like that. It's been 10 years since I seen the original Oldboy. So, what, 10 years? Or is that 9 years? Yeah, 10 years. Wow, damn, where's the time go? So, anyways, but that scene was intense. The American version of that, I don't know if I stated in the first video of this, it felt like a WWE wrestling match, you know what I mean? Where it's like, the dudes come like this close from actually hitting each other, and like you can actually, if you look close enough, you can see it, and you're like, it's like, and the guy goes flying, or there's like a delayed effect where it's like, but it's one of those things, you get the sense of that's not real, but also in another sense, like wrestling, you get a sense of, well, I don't care, I'm entertained, so that's the important part. And I'm like that too, I'm a wrestling fan as well, for those that want to know. So I don't care about fantasy violence or fake violence. As long as I'm entertained, that's what matters. I mean, it's a movie after all, folks. Duh. So, anyways, so going back to the manga, okay? In that story, the main hero, Godo, he fell in love with a girl that worked at, I'm trying to remember, that worked at a izakaya. That's a Japanese style pub, for those that don't know. And she basically met him by like an act of faith or whatever, because he came in after, he had a fight or whatever, and he had a little scratch like right underneath his eye, and he was bleeding. And she basically puts a little band-aid over his eye, and he has a little, Nelly moment. Anyways, so, she puts the little thing over there, and she has this weird look on her face, like she's, like, in a trance. And out of nowhere, she asks him to accompany her to go back to her place. She's never met this guy. And he doesn't know why, but he just agrees. Sure, why not? He has nowhere to go. He was dumped off in a park, and in, like, an oversized kind of, like, suitcase. And he was left with, like, $10 to his name, and here he spent that on sushi and cigarettes. Oh, no, wait, actually, he found his cigarettes, I'm sorry. He found cigarettes on the side of the road. He just, used ones. So, and if I remember right, he bought sushi and beer. That's what it was. Sushi and beer. $1, sushi and beer, yeah. Or 100 yen, whatever you want to say. Anyways, so when he met up with her, they went back to the apartment, all that. You don't get that in the American version. In that one, he meets the love interest, which, by the way, she has a huge secret, and I'm not going to spoil that, because if I told you that secret, that would completely, destroy the movie for you, and I don't do that. I give away some spoilers, but I don't want to give away big ones. Just know that she has a very... I'm trying to think if I should even say anything. she has a particular past that directly affects the main hero. There it is. Bam. But you don't know what that is. That's not giving away too much. So her past is a mystery, and her past basically affects him. And you'll see how later on. Anyways, so the fact that they took away the way the way that they met from the izakaya place to, I didn't even tell you actually, sorry about that. They met up accidentally in the American version. He was chasing some girl for some reason, and I'm trying to remember the reason why. It was some Asian girl, and she was like in a Chinese dress, and she had a umbrella and whatever, and he was basically tracking her down, and I don't even remember why, to be honest. That's the thing about this movie. There's just things that happen, and like they don't explain themselves. It's like, okay, why is he doing that? Where is he going? Who is he trying to, you just forget. Like with this particular movie, other than Samuel Jackson and Josh Brolin, which is the main guy, all the other characters are not even memorable at all. Like, at all. So, anyways, so they met up accidentally. He basically followed somebody that had a particular umbrella. It turned out to be the wrong person. He looked confused and furious and pissed off. He just got done beating up 12 football college guys or whatever in the middle of a field. They were in his way. Again, that was actually a pretty cool fight scene, to be honest. So he gets into a line or whatever, and he's trying to harass this person that has this umbrella, and the person, which is a homeless guy, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and they're in line for some kind of free checkups or something for the homeless, some kind of like charity of some sort. And along comes this doctor lady, and she basically comes up to the main hero, Joseph, and she was asking him questions. He's completely delirious. He's like, where is she? The one with the umbrella. And then she's like, did this man steal your umbrella? Oh, he's a kleptomaniac or whatever. He steals all kinds of shit. Here, you want us to give you back your umbrella? And he's like, just out of it. He's just, he's like walking around searching, and she's following him, and it was actually kind of funny. The acting was a little off there. And so basically she gives a calling card or whatever, call me anytime if you need help. She thinks that he's a crazy homeless guy. And, oops. And little does she know that, she's going to end up falling in love with him. And what's funny about that compared to the manga, see, in the manga, the girl that worked at the bar, she was not only a virgin, she didn't really have much of a social life, and, she worked the midnight shift. She worked from like 10 p.m. to like 6 in the morning, and she caught the first train or whatever in the morning. But anyways, just the comparisons of the love interest threw me off so much. There's some things you should change if you want to make a different story, but some things shouldn't be changed. So, I don't know. I was kind of put off by that. Not only that, the villain, they completely shitted on themselves in the American version. And they didn't build up your villain whatsoever. Okay, like I was mentioning before, you know nothing. There's a little surprise. Oh, it's a clue! And then somehow he figures it out like that. And then that's the rest of your story. The epic climax. And then the ending. Oh, God, I want to tell you the ending so bad, but I'm not. So, just know that it's one of those movies that when you watch it, you'll be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why? No! And then if you ever read the manga, or if you've seen the Korean freaking awesome counterpart to this, those were good endings. Those had better conclusions. You know, you look at this and like you can't help but think in your head, and you're like, they're gonna try and make some kind of part 2 of this or something, aren't they? They're gonna try and make a part 2. They just left it wide open like that. Shit, did I just kind of give it away? Fuck. Sorry. But I don't think that was really too much of a spoiler. Like I told you, it's one of those, after you're done watching, you're like, okay, why? Like, I ranted way too much. Anyways, just to close it all up, or package it all up, whatever you want to say. All in all, go get the Korean version of this movie, which is in subtitle, but it's not too hard to follow, to be honest. And if you can even find it, go get the mangas. That is just as good as the original movie, if not, in my opinion. I want to say better, but then again, I'm one of those people that believe that the books are always going to be better than the movie. Very rarely are the movies ever as good as the book or better than the book. I just don't know why. Just how it is. Guess it leaves room for imagination. But I mean, you know, I can talk about this all damn day. I just better stop. So, anyways, just to give you a final verdict, if you didn't already remember, I rated the American version a 7. The Korean film, I rated it a 10. The manga, of course, a 10. So you can kind of see where I'm leaning towards. I give the American version, even though I talked a lot of shit about it, a 7. I just can't seem to give it anything lower. I mean, you know, the fact that it had Samuel L. Jackson in the movie, that gave it an automatic point. The fact it was Old Boy, I automatically got to give it, you know, 5 points. And then the fact that, for, you know, the best they could for the white version of Godo, Josh Brolin, which played Joseph in the movie, he did the best he could, so I can't blame him. But everybody else is completely, they just don't, it doesn't hold up. The villains sucked. Alright, well, at least go rent it or something. But yeah, I'm done.